Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Upshift Podcast, the podcast that is all about Formula Racing, and we are back. We are finally back with a weekend recap, is what I'm going to call it now. I don't want it to be just the Russian Grand Prix review, something like that. It's the weekend recap, Sochi edition. Hope you all enjoy it, and let's get right into it, starting with Formula 2, the feature race and the sprint race. Good feature race. It was kind of the battle between Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Shumacher for most of the race. Yuki had a great getaway and had a good few laps, but then ultimately Mick Shumacher overtook him and just had a great race and took the win from Yuki Tsunoda, and Jehan Daruvala did not finish on the podium, which is kind of sad. I really wanted him to finish on the podium, but he did not, unfortunately. But it was a good weekend by both Carlins this entire weekend. Great job by them, and we will check in with them in a little bit with the championship standings. Coming next is the feature race. It was a good race. It was a really good race. It was ended prematurely with the really scary crash between Jack Aitken and Luca Ghiotto. It was going through, I believe, turn 4, the long left-hander that goes into the right hand. They were holding it. I think Aitken got a puncture, and he went to go counter steer, and he hit the tire of Luca Ghiotto, and Luca Ghiotto went sending into the tire barrier, and everyone was okay, thankfully, but the tire barrier caught on fire because the car caught on fire, and they had to end the race. That ended up with Guan Yu Zhou getting his maiden F2 win. Good job by Guan Yu Zhou. The race results, they were as followed for the feature race, with Guan Yu Zhou winning the race. Well, obviously Guan Yu Zhou winning the race. Coming behind him was Nikita Mazepin, then Mick Shumacher getting a double podium that extends his championship lead over Kelem Ailot and Yuki Tsunoda now. I don't think that Robert Schwartzman is in the championship running now. He's definitely out, actually. And I'm almost 100% sure that Mick Shumacher will win the championship. Anyways, behind him, since the red flag and the session ended, Jack Aitken actually finished in 4th, and Luca Ghiotto finished behind him. So, still a good result, I guess, by them, even though they didn't actually finish. But still, coming behind them was Yuki Tsunoda in the Carlin, then Kelem Ailot, then Dan Ticktum. Giving some commentary through the crash, actually. Weirdly, he just said, yeah, it's just a really scary corner to go into. It's really scary to go side by side. Hopefully they're all okay, obviously, and he just said a few sentences, and then it was kind of weird to see a driver see a crash and just have a kind of monologue for it. But it was fine in the end. But coming after Dan Ticktum, it was there we go. Coming behind Dan Ticktum was Pedro Piquet in the Cheroos, and then Robert Schwartzman not even scoring points in the feature race. Then Jehan Daruvala in the other Carlin, Artem Markelov, Christian Lundgaard, Marcus Armstrong, Sato, I still don't know his name. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Then Giuliano Lacey in the MP Motorsport. I'll get into why he's there. Louis Delatraz, Yuri Vips, Roy Nissany, and then Felipe Drogovic come out. I don't know why Giuliano Lacey is in there and not in the BWT HWA Race Lab Formula 2 team, which is the longest name I've ever seen in my entire life. It's because Nobuharu Matsushita stepped away from Formula 2, and it seems like from the sport. Weirdly, we don't know why. He just announced that he was just leaving Formula 2 and stop racing. It was a very odd situation. I did not expect that, because he just got his first win this year, and he looked strong. I just don't really know what happened. But Giuliano Lacey took his seat, and then Jake Hughes took Giuliano Lacey's seat in the HWA BWT Race Lab or something like that. I just don't know what the name is. It's just so unbelievably long. Please, if you're watching this, change your name. It's too much. Anyways, going after that, I do hope whatever he's planning in the future, he does very well in, because he's definitely one of my favorite Formula 2 drivers. Well, former Formula 2 drivers. So I definitely look forward to seeing what he has in store for the future. But now moving on to Formula 1. The reason I didn't have a preview is because, one, there's not really much that happened. The only really interesting thing that happened was Lewis Hamilton nearly got booted out of Q2 because he nearly didn't make the line. And then Alex Albon got P10, and then he got a 5-place grid penalty for the gearbox change that he had, and he started 15th. And that's really the only thing that really happened. And also Max Verstappen split the Mercedes 1-2. He was in second place, but it was first for Hamilton, third for Bottas. That's kind of everything that was interesting. But more pre-race drama, as per usual. Lewis Hamilton was under investigation for 2 illegal practice starts, and I saw it when Crofty said it, and I was like, let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen. But then, lo and behold, like 15 laps in, boom, 5-second penalty for Hamilton, and I was like, that's cool, but let's be honest, it's probably not going to affect him very much. And then boom, another 5-second time penalty for the second practice start, and I was like, this blows something wide open, and it didn't really. To be honest, he still finished on the podium, P3. Good recovery drive, but yeah, it didn't really change much of the race, except that Valtteri Bottas finally won. And I'm sorry if you can hear the pounding from my table that my microphone is on. I do apologize. But finally Valtteri Bottas wins, and is he in the title fight? I don't think so. I don't think he's anymore in the title fight. I think that went from him a long time ago, when Lewis Hamilton won 4 races, I'm pretty sure, in a row, and he finished third like 3 of those times. So yeah, I just don't think that Valtteri has the pace right now to challenge for the title anymore. I just don't think he can. Lewis is just too far ahead at this point. So good, Valtteri won. Good, like, Mercedes is kind of is still dominant, but they're not as smart kind of as I thought they were, because I would think that if you had that much experience around a track, that you wouldn't tell your driver to just park up here and then just have a practice start. I wouldn't think that was possible, but I don't know, but it was a very weird weekend. It wasn't an extremely interesting weekend. It wasn't an extremely interesting race, but it was a weird race, I guess. But let's just start on lap 1. Lap 1, carnage already, with everyone going wide. Alex Albon, I'm pretty sure Perez, Stroll, Sainz, Lando, Ricciardo, I'm pretty sure, also Ocon. But Carlos came out the worst when he tried to go around the bollard, but he went way too tight and just slammed his front left tire and broke the suspension, just spinning around and going in the middle of the track. Lando had to brake really hard just to avoid him. And that kind of ruined his race, because I'm pretty sure he got some debris under his car, and that kind of messed up his steering. He said that when he was turning right, randomly it would get really light to steer, so he would just go like that and it would turn, and other times it would be like a real struggle to turn at a right-hander. So it kind of ruined Lando's race. But yeah, bad weekend for McLaren, not scoring on any points. But a few corners later, Charles Leclerc hits Lance Stroll, and he goes careening into the barrier. And yeah, it was a safety car from there. They were going around and nothing really happened except Lando, Alex, and George all pit, and it was so cool to see them all kind of in a little battle, like who's gonna come out, and it was all kind of, it's just really cool to see all the F1 sophomores kind of just race around, all the Twitch generation, as Matthew Gallagher said it. But yeah, it was really, really cool to see that. Obviously, Alex came up on top, obviously, in the Red Bull. By the way, disappointing weekend by Alex. Of course, he had a kind of a race. Also not qualifying well, also taking that grid penalty due to its gearbox. But he only gained up 5 positions, which is okay, I guess, but I definitely think he could be better. He only got 1 championship point, and that puts him 1 point away from Lando Norris, who's in P4 right now. So I definitely think that P4 is up for grabs between Lando, Alex, and Daniel Ricciardo, actually. Daniel Ricciardo is only 1 point behind Alex, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think P4 is up for grabs between all those guys. Now going down further in the race, Lewis comes in, takes his penalty, then keeps going. And by the way, something that just kind of bothered me about Lewis, what he kept going like for about like 10-20 laps after he got the penalty. You're saying this is just unbelievable. This is just not fair for me. This is ruining my race. This is just not good. And at that point, I get you're angry. I fully get that. I get angry at video games if I get a penalty. And you're fighting for the lead. I perfectly get that. But to keep going, I think that was a little bit weird. And then also what he said after the race kind of bothered me, where he said that the FIA just want to just slow him down, which is a bit weird because I'm almost 100% sure that is something called not true. No, I got him. I get in trouble for this. But I don't think that's at all true. I don't think the FIA want to slow Lewis down. He kept saying, "Where is it in the rule books? Where is it in the rule books?" It's right there in the rule books. They said in the commentary, and the FIA said after the race. And it was, if it's illegal, it's illegal. If they think it's illegal, it's illegal. If they think you're in an unsafe position, you're in an unsafe position. Because I just don't really think that Lewis was... I don't think that Lewis was in an unsafe position, but I don't think he was in a safe position, if you know what I mean. So I just don't know if it was a perfect penalty, kind of. If it was a... Sorry, not perfect penalty. I don't know why I said that. If it was a... if it just was a penalty, I don't think it's kind of on the cusp of it could or couldn't, give or take, but I don't know. And he just ended up getting a penalty, so that's that. And he ended up recovering to P3, so it didn't really matter, to be honest. So yeah, it was perfectly fine for him. But later in the race, his teammate Valtteri Bottas, he just takes over the lead, and he completely dominates. I'm pretty sure he led for every single lap in the entire race. And I just want to bring this up. People on Twitter were saying that he wouldn't, because Valtteri said that he likes the position that he was in, P3, and that he won his first ever race from P3 in Russia from 3rd on the grid. So yeah, it was everyone was like, sure. But he did it. He actually did it. He did it. It was weird to do it. It was kind of a weird race. Again, I keep saying it's kind of a weird race because I kind of half expected Verstappen to go out and take the win, because it was kind of like what's it called, the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, where they kind of had a softer compound of tires. They had the softest compound of tires, and and he ended up not doing much. He gained like a couple seconds in the dying few laps, but nothing really came to fruition with Max, and he ended up just slotting into P2. Good race by him though. I'm pretty sure that's Red Bull's best ever finish in Russia, because I know Mercedes have won a lot. I'm pretty sure, if you guys don't know, that Mercedes have won every single Grand Prix that has ever come to Sochi. I'm pretty sure. They have. It's unbelievable. It's just so weird to see, like, one team just absolutely dominate one track. It's just unbelievable. It's so weird to see that, just a team be that dominant around one circuit. So obviously they're dominant now, but it's just still weird to see. But anyways, going on further in the race, Alex Albon has a good kind of battle with Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris, because he ended up pitting for medium tires, because his hard tires began to fall off the cliff in a major way. So yeah, that was a cool battle, but again, I think that Albon could have had P9. Gasly came in P9. So yeah, I think that Albon could have done better if he... I'm not saying if he didn't pit, he would have gotten ahead of Pierre, but I think he could have had a better chance to stay ahead of Pierre, because he was kind of in that P9, P10, P8 kind of range anyways. So yeah, I think that if he stayed on those hard tires, I think he would have had a better chance in staying ahead of Gasly, because Gasly actually pit, I'm pretty sure, under a VSC that Romain Grosjean caused by just sending it into turn 2 and trying to go around Sebastian Vettel and going into the bollards and causing a VSC, the shortest VSC I'm pretty sure in history, causing a VSC for about 2 to 3 seconds. They just had to just take it away and then just put one back in. So yeah, it was kind of weird. Again, I don't know why I keep saying this, but the race was just really weird to me. Because again, Lewis had that penalty. I really wanted Perez to get a podium, because for a while he was in the 11 to 12 second range for most of the race, and then I was like, oh, he might actually get it here. And then I continued to watch the race, and I checked the gaps again, and then he was 30 seconds behind. It was unbelievable. Like, I was confused of where he went. So I just don't know where he just lost pace in the tires, I guess. So yeah, he just fell off. But he got P4, good haul points for racing point. But now I just want to quickly go through the running order, starting from P20. P20 was Carlos Sainz, followed by Lance Stroll, the 2 DNFs in this race, continuing the trend for at least 1 DNF for every single race this year. Coming in front of them was George Russell, followed by Romain Grosjean, Nicholas Latifi, Lando Norris, Kimi Räikkönen, Sebastian Vettel. Tough weekend for Sebastian, not scoring any points. Coming behind 2 Ferrari powered cars, so that's a bit disappointing for him. But Sebastian Vettel, following him is Kevin Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, Alex Albon, the last person to not get lapped by Valtteri Bottas, followed by Pierre Gasly, Daniel Kvyat. Good weekend by AlphaTauri, getting 6 points for the team championship, followed by Esteban Ocon, Charles Leclerc, and Daniel Ricciardo. By the way, I think Daniel Ricciardo he got a penalty in turn 2, because Esteban Ocon was told to let him pass, and he locked up actually going into turn 2, and then just cut the corner, didn't go around the bollards. And if you don't go around the bollards, apparently you just get a penalty, which is, I feel like, is a bit unfair, because sometimes you're just trying to hold the corner and you just can't turn all the way to get the bollards. But it's rules are rules, I guess. And he got a penalty, and I think he handled the penalty very well. He just said, Renault just said, "Hey, you have a penalty," and then he was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go as fast as possible and make it up to you guys." So yeah, good reaction, I guess, from Daniel Ricciardo. Esteban Ocon finished again P7. Good haul points, 16 points for the Renault Championship. So good job, Ferrari. Charles Leclerc came in P6. Good job by him to get P8. And then obviously Daniel Ricciardo followed him. By him in P4 was Sergio Perez. Good haul points again by Sergio Perez, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas closes out in P1. So if you guys have all enjoyed this race, comment down below if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you enjoyed the episode. I just want to ask you guys to also a quick question. Do you think Hamilton's penalty was deserved? Comment down below. I just want to get you guys' feedback. If you guys have all enjoyed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Upshift Podcast. The Upshift, the F is capitalized and the T is a 1 on YouTube because of F1, and I am very funny, as you guys can plainly tell. Follow me on Twitter at the UpshiftCast. Follow me on Instagram at the UpshiftCast. Follow me on Facebook at Zeki Beauchamp. Have a great day. Stay safe in quarantine. I'll see you next week for the Nürburgring Grand Prix, and there will be fans, by the way, for the Nürburgring Grand Prix. So I'll see you all there. Have a great day, and goodbye.